Right now, brought to you by Ford and your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Let's talk with Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Now, this isn't really a question. I guess I kind of wanted to know what your reaction was as well, but on that Javonte Williams run to the 2-yard line right before the end of the half, my 3-year-old son was watching the game with me, and he said, wow, and then goes, that was awesome. Is that about the same reaction that you had to that play?
I would say spot on. It was holy smokes. What did he just do? And what an impressive year he's having for us. And obviously we're fired up for him and what he's brought to the table, his toughness, the way he takes the fight to the opponents, and just a great compliment to what Dak and our passing attack's doing. So yesterday I wouldn't say firing on all cylinders, but we were making a lot of big plays.
How big has it been for this team that you guys have just absolutely, not just yesterday, but the whole season, dominated the last couple of minutes of the first half? That feels like a huge springboard into halftime and beyond.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the turnover ratio. If you win the turnover battle, you'll probably win a game. If you can, score at the end of the first half and also come back out and get a double and score to start the second half, you got a great chance of winning a lot of games. And we probably can do better coming out of the second half, but obviously we have done really well, and I really think it's a great springboard and momentum builder for the second half when our offense makes plays like that.
Shotty said that he spent more time involved in defensive meetings last week. A, how does he find time for that? And then B, was he helping bridge ideas that Flus is trying to get across to the players, or do you think it was more like when a principal sits in on the math class and everybody just kind of acts better?
No, I think it's the former. I think at the end of the day, Shotty can bring, we call it self-scouting, a lot to the table in terms of looking at our defense and, hey, this is how I would come after you. And here's where I think we're, vulnerable. And certainly just wanted to spend more time really walking through, with Matt, kind of where he thought we could do some things that would make it more challenging. And, to me, it's just it's hats off to Coach Schottenheimer. I mean, taking the ball and run with it, that's what great head coaches do. They're, head coach, everybody wants to say, well, he's an offensive guy or a defensive guy. The great ones, I think, are involved in everything. I mean, Bill Parcells was involved in the special teams meetings, the defensive meetings, the offensive meetings. He did it all. But I think it also goes, it's a great compliment to the group Shotty has over there between Chimko and Clayton and those guys that, he's confident that, they'll get him the information he needs so he can call the type of game he wants to call and understand the game plan.
Oh, for sure. I also saw a story that K9, Kenneth Murray, held a couple extra meetings with the defense, and I'm just kind of wondering how much you feel that communication, that leadership helped this week, and you want to see more of that going forward?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you're looking for is communication and dialogue. I think that's how you execute. And those guys getting in a room on their own and making sure they're communicating out there, that's where consistency starts to creep in. If you can really, take what the coaches are giving you and then take it to another level and, meet with your guys. And, he's certainly one of the big communicators out there on the field for us. And, for him to be having those meetings, hats off to him. And, that's what it takes if we're going to get better as a defense as we progress here. And that's obviously the goal. I think we took some good steps yesterday. Obviously, we know we still have a lot of work to do there.
How have you felt, or how did you feel about this last week of practice? Because Schottenheimer said, hey, good week of practice. We wanted to get more physical. One of the first things Dak said yesterday was, hey, we need to have another good week of practice. How did you see a difference in practice this past week leading into this game?
Absolutely. I mean, I think when we met, the Telltale 2, we meet on Fridays with our coordinators, and they absolutely said it was their best week. Coach Eberflus was really pumped up about the week we had and the way we executed during practice. And, I just think it's a given going all the way back to the Jimmy Johnson days. When you had great weeks of practice, you usually play good on Sunday. And certainly we had a great week of practice, and I totally agree. We have to keep putting that together, putting those days together and stacking them up, and we'll improve on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, we still got a lot of room for improvement as well. There's no doubt in my mind that Coach Schottenheimer and his staff are going to be pushing these guys to meet standards, and I expect that to happen.
When you talk about the potential improvements on offense, that's something that, again, Dak said as well. He goes, the sky's the limit. What does an even better version of this offense look like right now? Because it's clearly been ridiculously good so far.
Yeah, well, we hadn't had our meetings, but I know there were a couple drives there late in the second quarter, where we shot ourselves in the foot with holding penalties and, penalties that set you back, and they're hard to overcome. And so you can start with things like that, and then there's just the overall general play. And, we'll see more about it as we move forward. But there's no question in my mind we can play even better on the offensive side of the ball.
We always want George Pickens to catch the ball. But I was telling Kevin earlier this morning, I was like, it doesn't even matter if he catches it. He's a threat. He changes the way defenses have to look at this team because of his ability to go deep. And it can be a pass interference, it can be a catch, it can be so many different things. But the fact that he's a threat gives Dak so many more options. Is that what you're seeing right now, and is that the impact you expected?
Yeah. I mean, look at the year. We just start to go through them. I mean, look at what Javonte's doing. Look at what Ferguson is doing with, his production on numbers of receptions and touchdowns. I think it's, CD, unfortunately, has been hurt. Had a little window there where he was hurt, but I think it loosens everything up on him as well. And then, you got the guys, who complement the rest of them, whether it's a Turpin, whether it's a Flournoy, whether it's a JT, everybody's getting in the mix. I think, one thing that was exciting to me, we had a penalty on the play, which is what we got to get out of the game is, our game is, we got to reduce these penalties. I mean, you're going to have some. It's inevitable. But, I love the play Blue made when he went for about 15 down the right sideline. Yep. You could really see the juice and the speed that he can bring to this offense when you get him in space.
Now, it feels as though, or it seems as though Overshown made the announcement himself this morning. Has the 21-day window been opened for him?
Yes, he is so fired up, and yes, we'll be opening that window with him, and he'll start to work back in, and I know he's fired up. I know our training staff's fired up. He's been itching at the bit to get back, but we wanted to make sure, after coming off 2 injuries, unfortunately, that he was 100% ready to go, but he's got to get, he's going to have that ramp-up period where he gets in football shape. Hadn't been in didn't get any work in the off season or training camp. So obviously there's work to do there, but it'll probably take the full allotted 3 weeks for him to get prepared. But hopefully after that bye, he'll be ready to play football.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Mingo is coming to the end of his window, if that is correct. Where do y'all stand with him?
We'll activate him for sure. Okay. So he'll be moving up and be on the roster and competing to get snaps. Obviously, that receiving room's gotten pretty spicy. You're going to have to get in there, but he does. He brings an element with his game, that we don't have. He's obviously got rare size and speed, and he's a physical player, and he'll certainly be wanting to get on the field.
And last thing before we let you go, Stephen. Actually, never mind. Hold on.
Well, if he's got a last thing, my last thing I was going to ask then was, from a football strategy point, it probably made sense, but there's 6 minutes and 59 seconds left to go in the game yesterday. You guys are up at 22 and sitting right at about midfield. Did you also kind of want Brandon Aubrey to get the shot at that record field goal?
I'm sure everybody talked about it. He already set one NFL record yesterday. I think he's now holds the most 60-plus yard field goals in the history of the NFL. So, yeah, we were up there chuckling. It'd kind of been nice to let him go for it, but we understand.
All right, then I will ask that. I love Brandon Aubrey, so I'm glad you asked that. Do you happen to have any update on Diggs and what happened last week?
No further updates. No, other than obviously he had an accident at home, and it was one that kept him from playing. Hopefully, he'll be back ready to go to work this week.
Well, we appreciate the time as always, good sir. Congratulations on the win. We'll catch you next Monday.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you.